after that, and Gurez Valley is very close to Indo-Pak border, so it's a very sensitive area. And on the way 2 3 times we had to meet entry. After a lot of time, a place named Trapur came. It is a place where we can enjoy snacks under sheltering trees along with holy trees. And we ate Maggie there because the Maggie prepared there is so famous, and we also tried it and it was of course tasty. And after that we reached the gateway to Gurez. It's known as Rajdata. It's the highest point between Bandipora to Gurez. It is at an altitude of 11,000 feet, and from there the whole Bandipora and the Gurez can be seen. There is also a shrine. On one side there is a shrine, and on another side there is a temple. And my grandfather's grave, it is also there. So we spent there like half an hour, and after that proceed next to our destination. And after driving for almost 5 hours, we reached the first town of Gurez known as Thuragoi, which was our destination. And there I met my parents after 7 to 8 days, and it was so good. We enjoyed a lot there, and the house there was surrounded with water, flowers, and it was so good. Next day, we decided that we should explore Gurez Valley. And on this day, we explored the whole Gurez Valley. Our today's first location was Bakhtol. From Bakhtol, there are two mountains can be seen. On one, there is Indian military post, and on another, there is Pakistan military post. And some of the Pakistan area can also be seen from there. And the main eye-catching view in Bakhtol is of a playground. It's a cricket ground, and it's one of the most largest ground in whole Gurez. And the most important thing about Bakhtol is that Kishan Ganga project. It's a hydroelectric power. In India, it is known as Kishan Ganga river, and in Pakistan, it becomes Neelam river. And it flows between two villages. On India side, it is Bakhtol, and on Pakistan side, it is Sogar. And there is a LOC between these two countries. And this is also a very important topic for UPSC aspirants also, because Pakistan was against this project because according to them, this project will alter Neelam river. But when this case was taken to court, they ruled in the favor of India, and hence this project was constructed. Then we visited Tarwal. Do you remember I told you that Gurez Valley is very close to Indo-Pak border? It's the last village on India side. After that there is no village. After that there is Indo-Pak border. Next location was Dawar. And it is famous for a peak known as Habba Hatun Peak. And there is a very interesting story behind it. The story is that actually that peak is named after a woman known as Habba Hatun. And the real name of Habba Hatun was Zain. She was married at very young age to Aziz John, and she was so much interested in singing and poetry. But her in-laws, they were against her. And she used to recite her poetries and her songs in front of her friend, and in this way she became so famous. But when her husband got to know about this, he was against this and he started beating her. And her in-laws also supported their son. She tried so hard to control her emotions, but everything was effortless. While she was with her friend or while doing any other work, her heart was always beating poetry. And one day she was working, and Prince Yusuf Shah passes by that place. She was singing song, and he heard her voice. And when he heard her voice, he was so surprised. And after that, he found out that who this woman is. And after knowing about her family, he called her husband into the palace and offered him some money to divorce her. And guess what? He agreed. After their divorce, Yusuf Shah sent proposal to Zon for marriage, and after they both got married, she came to the palace. In this way, she became Habba Hatun from Zon. In the history of Kashmir, she is considered as a woman of high elegance. Time has changed. Mughal Emperor Akbar had conquered Kashmir, and he called Yusuf Shah in his palace, and he imprisoned him. He sent him to jail. Now the whole world for Zon had become dark. To get rid of Akbar's torture, she moved to a place named as Pantha Chowk, and there she built a hut. And she started singing sad songs in the plan of separation from her husband. And she spent her rest of her life as a saint in Kashmir, and at last she came to Gurez Valley and died there. This is the whole story of Habba Hatun and Habba Hatun Peak. Another famous thing in Dawar is there is a beautiful camping area for tourism, and it's along the river, and it's so beautiful. Today's last location was Tulel Valley. It's one of the remotest valley in whole JFK. And very old and elderly type of people are living here. And the road there was so adventurous, and the same road go to Ladakh also. And many movies have also been shot there. After exploring almost the whole Gurez Valley, came back to our home, and my aunt, they were also with me, my aunt's family. And next day they went back to Srinagar. They just came to drop me off. After staying there for 4 to 5 days, me and some of my family members, we decided that we should go for trekking. At first, I thought that it would be easy, but it was not easy. On the way, I was not even able to breathe. It was not even that much high peak, but still it was a peak, and to climb it was difficult for me. Actually, I was told that after climbing that peak, there is a very beautiful place and a famous mountain. Just to Sadhya, I climbed that. And after walking for almost 2 hours, I reached at the top. The main thing for which I came to such a high place was to see Nanga Parbat. It's second highest mountain in India and fifth highest mountain in whole world. Its height is of 8,126 meter and is a Himalayan peak. And the place I visited was known as Hand Mughal, and it is just in front of Nanga Parbat. The time I reached there was a time when sky was filled with clouds, and most of the time Nanga Parbat is surrounded with clouds, so I was not able to see it at that time. Next morning when I woke up, again the sky was filled with clouds and it was not visible. So we decided that we should stay for one more day, and on second day we decided to extend our trekking. Just a day before, I was thinking that I will never walk again, but on second day I suddenly got energy and extended our trekking. After traveling for almost 7 to 8 kilometers in mountains, I was almost dead. My legs stopped working. But there was a heaven-like place that didn't let me lose my head. And finally the time came when that place was only a few steps away from me. And at that time, I ran so fast to sight. And believe me when I fell, it was so beautiful. Like, if I can say, I can just say that it was the best thing I had ever seen in my life. A lake-type water surrounded with golden mountains, snow-covered mountains, meadows, flowers with silver. Water was flowing under my feet. It was the best thing I had ever seen in my whole life, and I will never forget it. After spending almost 2 to 3 hours there, we came back, and next morning when I woke up, the sky was crystal clear, and after that I saw Nanga Parbat. At first I thought that it is Mount Everest because it was looking like Mount Everest, but it was Nanga Parbat only. And finally, for the only purpose I came to such a high place was fulfilled, and we went back. Now, the next was the last tour of Kashmir, a tour to Sasno. It was the most exciting and pleasurable tour. Everything is beautiful about Kashmir. The meadows, the flora, lakes, everything. But Kashmir is also famous for great presence of snow and great snowfall. So on the last day, we visited a place where there was a lot of snow. And we were so excited to visit there because we went there with full preparation, like with eatables and all other required things. And it was like 1 or 2 kilometers from our home. And we reached there, and after that we played a lot there. We made snowmans, and we also took slides on swing. There were swings also, and we also took slide on ice also, and it was so good. There are only few moments when we enjoy. The only purpose of our life should be to be happy. Most of the time we are always busy thinking that what is ahead for us, that we forget where we are standing right now. Most of the time we are always thinking about sad moments came to our life. But always remember, life is like a roller coaster. Live it, be happy and enjoy. And be kind, considerate and pleasant to be around. You will not only enjoy life more, but people will treat you better. And even if they don't treat you, just let them go. Letting go means you came to the realization that some people are part of your history but not a part of your destiny. From the first to the last tour, I got to learn a lot. After spending some time there, we came back to the home, and next day we started packing the things because we were planning to come back. And while packing the things, we were a little sad also because we were leaving heaven. But after we completed the packing, on 16th of July 2023, we came back from Gurez Valley. And after spending 3 to 4 days in Srinagar, we reached Lambedu. Now, here the tour ended. This was the complete tour. But now it's time for my overall review about Kashmir. Like what I experienced there, how I felt it. Basically, if I talk about land and people, so of course you all know that it's totally different from Jammu. The land there was like very, it was Kashmir Valley is very mountainous valley with long and deep narrow valleys, and there were so many high and barren plateaus. And if I talk about people there, so mainly the inhabitants are Muslim and are known as Kashmiri, and the language they spoke is also known as Kashmiri. But sometimes when they try to speak Urdu, it's so funny. Like they are not even able to pronounce some words. For example, if there is a word chips, they will not say chips, they will say chippers. If there is a word science, they will not say science, they will say sinus. This is funny but at the same time cute also. And moreover, Kashmiri people are so helpful in one way or another. Kashmir is a place which have a international value. It is so beautiful, of course. But beside all this, beside its beauty, it is one of the most disputed places over the earth. Over the course of 70 years, it has been a center of three massive wars fought between two armies. It is heavily occupied by 500,000 Indian troops and a deadly collection of terrorist and militant groups. It is one of the most strategic places on the earth where three countries collide: India, Pakistan and China. China invaded and took a slice of Kashmir known as Exide Shield. And Kashmir is at the center of this brutal conflict. But firstly, it's important to discuss how this all was started. Back in mid-80s, India was a patchwork of many princely states. Do you know what are princely states? Means almost all the states of India were ruled by Maharajas and Rajas. And a century later, when British left India, India got independence. British left India, but they hastily divided and split the nation into two parts. One was mainly Muslims, known as Pakistan, and second was mainly Hindu but secular India. The partition was bloody. Over 1 million people were sheltered overnight. In between all this chaos and confusion, the princely states were given choice to choose either country, Pakistan or India. And in most of the cases, the monarch chose the choice of the people. But our state called J&K was different. It was right that majority of our population was Muslim, but it was ruled by Hindu monarch. And when they were asked to pick up either country, they chose neither. And fearing that Indian monarch would turn to India, Kashmiri people rebelled in 1947, and Pakistan also joined the fight. And monarch turned to India for the help, and they also agreed to help them. And this is how the first war between India and Pakistan was formed. The UN Security Council blocked a ceasefire. Ceasefire is an agreement to control a fight. And it also asked Pakistan to withdraw and Indian troops to follow. Neither country agreed. And they asked that Jammu and Kashmir should be given a choice. They should have voting right that in which country they want to go. But Pakistan keep on insisting that Kashmir's Muslim population rightfully belonged to them, and while India insisted that Hindu monarch handed over Kashmir and Jammu to them. And in 1965, the second war between these two countries broke. Thousands of people were killed. Kashmir was continuously being split and was occupied by militants and terrorists. And another war broke out in 1979. This time the focus was not on Kashmir but on eastern part of Pakistan. And here Pakistan lost its eastern half, and that part became another country known as Bangladesh. And now Pakistan lost its eastern half. Kashmir had become one of the militarized places over the earth. And in 1999, another war broke out, and this war also ended up with a ceasefire, but that didn't stop either country. In 2001, some member of Lashkar-e-Taiba killed 14 people and bombed Indian Parliament building. And in 2008, 10 members from the same group killed 174 people. People were always crying, and according to them, Kashmir was one of the most disputed places all over the world. Hopelessness was everywhere. There was psychological effect of the war. Back in 2019, a suicide bomber, Adil Ahmed, drove explosion into Indian military canvas and killed 40 Indian soldiers. More than 70 years, India and Pakistan had driven a vicious cycle of violence and exploitation in Kashmir. But beneath all this, there is a wish to make a choice, a wish that is continuously being suppressed again and again by violence. This is the whole story of Kashmir conflict, and this conflict is carried on now also. And we visited Kashmir and it was so beautiful. But the conflict between India and Pakistan is destroying it. So the Kashmir should be given our voting right in which country he want to. I visited Kashmir, it was so beautiful and all the places were like heaven. And at last, I will just say that I will definitely suggest you that you should also once visit Kashmir. And at last, I will just say that every step toward Kashmir feels like a step toward heaven. Beauty of Kashmir can't be compared by the postcard because it is a place where nature's beauty never fades. And with this, I would like to end my speech. Thank you.